Ackermans, and this is Supply Network Dynamics Chapter 1. The first episode, the structure of this course. This course is about supply network dynamics. Supply network dynamics is really the combination of three things. There is operations management in it, because it's about supply chain management. There is networks in it, so how do you collaborate, how do you coordinate within a network? Today's world is consisting of networks of organizations. So that's organization and management. And there's dynamics in there, because these things keep changing all the time. What's relevant today no longer is relevant tomorrow. There are all sorts of complex dynamics involved in all this. And those dynamics you can study with system dynamics, which is a way of looking at the world as a series of interconnected feedback loops. And with system dynamics we develop simulation models to better understand what's happening. And those three things are the constituent fields, if you like, of system dynamics, of supply network dynamics. Now, how does this case work? Well, this case is centered around 9 real cases, and I'll tell you a bit more about them in a minute. For every case there is an interview with one of the key managers involved in that case. There is also a full text of all the relevant material that you need to know, both about the case itself and about underlying theory and about structures of the models that are used in the case. And there are the gameplays, there are the video clips as the one you're looking at. So we have video clips of, well, of course, the interviews with the key executives, but also video clips where I explain a bit of theory, as I'm doing here, and video clips where I explain how you use the sims, the simulation models. Because each of those 9 cases has its own game, has its own sim, as I call it, in which you can replicate the behavior of what happened historically and can see if you can do a better job. So that's how we study this marvelous world of system supply network dynamics. Now, the contents of this course is consisting of 4 major parts. First, the first 3 weeks, and this is the first of those 3 weeks, there's a bit of theory. Theory before we really dive into those cases, things you need to know. You need to know a little bit about how the world has changed into interconnected, decentralized supply networks, and that's called the in command but not in control. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2, models of man, is all you really need to know about system dynamics before you go and experiment, play with the sims that are made in a simulation language based on system dynamics. Chapter 3 is everything you need to know, most of what you need to know about decision making, because you will find out in this course that managerial decision making is far from ideal, and that's just the way it is, and there are all sorts of filters around managerial decision making that create problems in practice. Okay, you need to be aware of that as well. Then the second part of the course is about a series of supply network dynamics where the main issue is that demand and supply are not in equilibrium. Usually an economics course starts with, we assume an economy in equilibrium. Well, in the real economy it never is. Curse of cyclicality is about Philips Semiconductors and a huge change in the market and how they dealt with it. And Praise of Lies is about ASML and how they, during the same period, even had a rougher time. Relevance Assumed is about Interpolis, a part of Interpolis, where they had a huge increase in demand in the early 2000-2001, and how they dealt with that. The third part of the course is about workload quality dynamics. So not just the volume changes a lot, but there are issues of quality as well. There's an example that we call the boiled frog, which is from a case of a new product development example where a big project, 100 man years, tens of millions of euros, completely failed because people didn't timely appreciate the fact that the project was running late. There is pilot error, which is a case of the Airbus A380 and a little bit other major aircraft development programs where Airbus at least had to fire 10,000 people, lost some 3 to 4 billion in a year, simply because they, through a number of supply network dynamics, weren't able to ramp up the production of the A380 in time. And there's the quality cascade, which deals with the Internet plus Bellen case of KPN, or the Voice over Internet Protocol, the VoIP case of KPN, where KPN was sort of crucified on national TV early 2007 because it made such a mess of the ramp up of its new product called IPB, or Internet plus Bellen. And again, that had to do with workload quality dynamics. So that's the second group of 3 cases. The third group of 3 cases have to do with human relations, or at least with inter-organizational relations. And in those relations, transparency and trust play an important role. Vicious and virtuous cycles is a case from Fokker, from an ERP development project in Fokker in the late 90s, how that came to a crisis and how it, through the same mechanism, actually reversed into a very successful project. Travail, Transparency and Trust is from a project in Philips, early 2001-2002, where there was a big fight between the part of Philips that makes optical storage products and the part that supplies to that other part the chips, the ICs needed for that. And they also managed to reverse their fighting relationship. And collaborative KPIs is from a case study of KPN and its IT outsourcing partner Atos Origin, and how they got into a fight and how they also managed to get out of there. And then there is a closing chapter on how to move forward. And that's the contents of this course.